All right, my name is Trevor Yandow, and I'm joined by Andrew Kline. We'd like to welcome on the head coach of the women's volleyball team, Josh Steinbach. Coach Steinbach has been with the team for 13 seasons and holds the most wins out of any coach in program history, and was also named Big East Coach of the Year in his first season. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I'd like to ask, as a fall sport, your season has been greatly changed, and I just want to know what restrictions your team has to follow and how you're meeting them.
Yeah. So first off, it's been really tough on, I'm sure, everyone, and athletes no different. So and coaches, shoot, I find myself really bummed a lot. I want to be coaching in matches, and so right now we're not competing in matches, and we're in practice in small groups and in masks, and trying to keep everybody at distance in practice. So that's kind of what's been outlined for us by our team doc, and Mike Duncan's really dialed in with COVID and what's going on locally and in the Big East and then nationally as well. So we're just trying to follow protocols and do what we can, what we can do allowable for us, and get as much out of that as we can, which is right now some small group practice and limiting our interactions as a group.
So can you elaborate on kind of what the plan and timeline is to potentially and hopefully soon return to like a regular schedule and an actual season?
Yeah. So, the Big East is in, workings on putting together spring schedules for the fall sports. There are a number of challenges with that. As I'm sure, someone can imagine, it's, taking all the sports and putting them in the same season is tough. And a lot of the Big East schools have large athletic departments. Villanova 24 sports. I think Georgetown has a few more than that. And you've got this model of Northeast schools with a lot of sports. And so suddenly putting them all into the same season is going to challenge personnel, from athletic training to media relations to athletic facilities. So there's a lot of factors that got to go into planning all of that out, and I think especially as we look at basketball, fortunately at Villanova we play in Jake Nevin Fieldhouse, which is kind of our home, and men's and women's basketball has facilities that they'll be in for their seasons, but a lot of the Big East institutions aren't as lucky, and they'll be playing basketball and volleyball for sure in the same facilities, and that's going to create some controversy. So, or challenges, not controversy maybe. But so we're working with the Big East Conference on trying to put together a good scheduling model that works for us, and hopefully we'll have that out here by the end of the month, and we'll have a schedule, and then. We know we have a start date, say it's laid down by the NCAA of January 22nd for women's volleyball. And so, we're working with the university on, when our athletes will be able to start back to school, and as far as if they get a preseason in, or if we just report when school starts. And there's a lot of questions still to be answered.
So back in March, when the campus was closed due to the coronavirus, how did this affect your team, and how did your players respond to that adversity of being sent home and not being able to practice?
Yeah, I think it was tough. I think, it was such a weird 2 weeks, as we all kind of remember. But the thing that stuck out to me over and over again was how fast things changed. And in 1 minute it was even for us, we were in the spring. We have some spring competitions, but even for us, it was like, okay, we're still going to be able to do everything we do in the spring, but we're not going to have not allow any spectators for our spring events, which really doesn't affect us that much. Not many people come to watch our non-season matches. So at volleyball at any level, and then suddenly it was like, oh, probably no competitions, and then all of a sudden, poof, school's out. And I think that's how it felt for the NBA and NCAA college basketball and baseball and everybody, like all these sports people. It was just like it was all of a sudden, it was like this slow build, and then all of a sudden, poof. And so I think our kids struggled with that just like anything else. I mean, I think we, as a group, part of what we've been doing for a long time as an athlete, as a coach, is competing and practicing and training to compete. And then, and then all of a sudden those things go away. It's not easy. It's stressful. And it may not be the, athletics may not be the items that change the world, but they certainly are very important to all of us. And so I think it's really hard when those things are taken away from you. And just like, it might be, going out and having coffee for somebody might be really enjoyable. All of a sudden you can't do it. It's really just changes your world. So we're, the kids dealt with it pretty well. I think, they understood what was going on. They were paying attention to, what's happening in the news and all those kinds of things. So I think they dealt okay. But I don't think they were necessarily happy with it or fired up about it, but they, we made it through okay. We had an okay semester. I think each kid's situation is different. And you guys know, I mean, your parents weren't ready for you to be home for a whole long time. They were just happy to be rid of you for a while, and all of a sudden you guys got to come back in the house and make things crazy again. So, who knows? Every household was different, and it's been hard. For COVID's not that much fun.
So you kind of touched on your feelings with changes in the spring, but what were your initial thoughts when you heard that your fall regular season had been canceled or postponed?
Well, I mean, I think, yeah, it was, it was a slow boil. I mean, that stuff was coming. We all knew. And, I'm at home and I'm talking to my family and I'm going, hey, we're not going to, I was a pessimist for quite some time. Like, hey, we're not going to get into the season. It's just freaking, it's not going to happen. And so, and the funny thing about that is even, it's coming. And the day they announced it, it's still heart wrenching. It's still hard. And because those are the things that, we spend so much of our time preparing for, and not have it. It just, and I was pretty upset that day. I wasn't real fun to be around. I don't think any of the coaches who were coaching fall sports were fun that day. I'm sure that, I talked to a lot of the spring sport coaches. I know what it was like for them in the spring when they were in the middle of their season and things got yanked, and that's just not, none of those things are awesome. So, yeah, I was kind of a jerk that day. Nobody wanted to really be around me. So, but that's the way it is. And, we had to step up and talk to our team and let them know what was going on. And we've been in, pretty constant communication with them about what we think is going to happen. And, I wasn't, it's not like I think one of the things that we've done well as a staff is try not to paint too rosy a picture for anybody. And I think that leadership has come down through our athletic department. Mark Jackson's been very honest with what he sees coming. Dr. Duncan's been very honest about what he sees coming. Father Peter has been very, clear about what he thinks is happening. And so those things at our university are really done well. At least the leadership tree that I see does a really good job of letting everybody know what they think is actually going to happen, and not just trying to paint over it and make it sound like it's all going to be okay. And we need that.
All right. And over the past 13 seasons, you've really helped grow the Villanova volleyball program. So how do you plan to maintain that level of success into this 14th season?
Well, I appreciate you saying that. It's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed my time here, and I like coaching the groups of kids that I've had to coach. It's just so much fun. So that's the first thing is we're trying to keep it that way. We're trying to keep it an enjoyable experience for us. For me personally, I'm gonna, if I can keep it enjoyable for me, then I'm sure the kids are gonna enjoy it. It's gonna be that way for them too, and the team's gonna feel that way. So we want to make sure that everybody's having a good experience, and we're just trying to keep that a real thing. And as that goes forward, then I think we get better, we play better, and we're just trying to stick to the things that we've always kind of preached. And it's our little volleyball family, and taking care of each other, and then playing really hard. And so we're going to keep preaching that, and then we're going to keep trying to recruit better, and keep working hard. And I think our work ethic is pretty good as a staff, and even here in COVID, when I feel like we can't get out and recruit, and we can't get out and do some of the things we would normally do, we're doing it on video if we can, and doing it, whatever we can do, we're trying to get through. And so, hopefully we can sustain some levels of success and set new bars. I think that's kind of the goal for us. And, 2015, we made the NCAA tournament for the first time in, a long time, but we haven't been back yet. So that's, we got to get, the goal is to make that a routine that we, selection Sunday comes, our name's on the board, and then we go play. So, that's the next thing for us. So, that's got to happen here this year or next. So we're looking forward to it.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day. And I hope you guys have a great season in this troubling COVID environment.
Well, Thank you. I hope we have a season. As long as if we get to play some matches, then that's going to be a success. And I think it'll be a good relief for a lot of our kids, and to get, to be able to focus on athletics for a little bit instead of having to stress about COVID and midterms with no fall break.
Yeah, I hope you guys have some games with some fans. I'm normally out there in the stands, so I hope we can get to watch some of those.
Yeah, that'd be great. Next time you're at a match, come by and say hello after.
I will. Thank you for joining us.
All right, guys. Thank you.